Hey there YouTube, I'm Yukitsu, this is Yukitsu Times, welcome to my channel. Playing a little bit of Simcity just to relax, unwind a little bit. I know a lot of people have been saying that this game's got a lot of problems, but I'm not actually having any, so it's been pretty great for me. I'm gonna just start off by placing down this avenue here. What I want to do this time is do something a little bit different from what I like to normally do, since it'll look a little bit more interesting. But I want to just make sort of a circle city, with a big casino sort of base in the middle. I like to normally do a big industrial type city. And I'll do that later, but for now I want to try something a little bit different, a little bit more relaxing. Gotta turn the guides on here. And just get these circle roads out. Once I get that done, I can start placing down my industrial, my commercial, my residential. And that zoning is very important. I'm not sure if I'll be able to afford to go all the way around in these circles, but let's try our best here. Let's start with that for now. Need to extend a service road up here. And get our services and utilities down. So let's start off with a bit of power. Get this wind generator over here. Next, water. Get that drawn up over here. And lastly, our sewage outflow pipe, which we'll put way up here. And that'll be basically fine. I did this in the slightly wrong order since I should have done this residential like first here, but that's okay. We'll deal with it however we can. Want to get this industrial out here. Get a nice commercial buffer zone here. And get our residential in here. Perfect. Now if we extend our commercial into a little buffer zone here, we can build it across and then use that as a buffer to stop our residential from being close to our industrial, letting us do this. And you always want to have lots of residential at the start, and pretty much the entire game actually. You want residential to be one of your biggest things. Now once this is all zoned out, I'll be ready to start waiting on profits to start coming in. I can just set it to fast pace here. And I'm going to lose money for the first little bit while people still move in, since they aren't paying taxes until they've moved in. But as you can see, I've already got businesses opening up, I've got residents, and I'm probably going to go bankrupt. So we'll have to see if that's going to happen. It's always exciting to watch. But I should be okay. You can see these houses are coming in very quickly, but they've got no power. That's because this place doesn't have any jobs, and doesn't have any workers. So these guys are going to zip out of there and head back into here and start working. And now it's powering the city. The power's going to slowly trickle through the underground wires and head over to the buildings. So that'll be fine. Now looking at our zoning here, I'm actually going to just take out a little bit of this residential area and replace it with this commercial area. And that's just because I want these guys around here to have access to shops. Now, Sims basically begin upgrading once they have good access to stores. And if I'm forcing them to drive all the way up around here, they're not going to be all that happy. So it's good to always give your Sims a few shops that are sort of closer to home. And I'm going to continue that pattern a little bit by sort of taking out a little bit of this section here as well. And then upgrading, or changing that rather, to commercial as well. Now as you can see, I'm starting to make a good profit. That means that I no longer have to worry about going bankrupt, and I can place my town center. Just going to put it down there, relatively out of the way. Town center also costs 200, so you have to be careful about your budget there. But it also lets you name your cities, which is really nice. It's a nice touch that you can't just name it off the bat. Gonna call our city Yukitsuburg. It's a little bit like Pittsburgh, but a little bit more circular. And of course that does mean that when I do get my professional sports arena, I'm definitely gonna have to call my team the Yukitsuburg Penguins. Because I like penguins, not the hockey team. I'm Canadian, so I have to like Canadian hockey teams. I don't like our city's team. I don't root for the Flames, but that's because they're terrible. No offense to the Flames or to anybody who's a fan of the Flames, but they're terrible. Anyhow, we've got a little bit of money coming in, so I can now do this, the rest of this road without any fear of going completely broke. So let's finish off this road. Ha 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 ha. Okay, well, let's just wait a few seconds, and I'll get enough money to do that. There we go. And then I'll zone that as well. Now, I definitely want this section here, since it's got commercial right beside it, to mostly be residential, but I do want to make a small commercial zone. So I'll put that here. It's important to make it match on both sides as best you can, since in doing so, you'll make sure that your citizens double up the size of their buildings. Instead of making a whole bunch of small buildings here, they'll make a big building that takes up both sides of the street. My industrial demand is going up and up and up, so I'm going to have to actually make another sweeping circle all the way up to the top there. If I start from this side, however, it'll be a little bit easier to make that. So let's go ahead and start that. Now it's going to cost an awful lot more than that can provide, but since my Sims haven't actually started filling in the entirety of my industrial sector, it'll be a while before I could actually start making those buildings. There's a limit to how many buildings can be actually built at a time by your citizens. So we'll have to just wait a little bit, be patient. I could take a loan, but that's usually a bad idea. I don't like taking loans in this game. Some people say that makes the early part a little bit faster, and it's kind of necessary to make that bearable. But at the same time, I think that it's usually a bit of a risk in case you accidentally screw up part of your city and you're not making enough money to pay it off in time. So, always something to keep in mind. And unless what you're doing is going to immediately pay off in profits, it's usually not worth it. So, already I'm making over 2,000 an hour. My taxes are set to 9%. I'm going to raise them all the way up to 12, just because at the beginning you can set it up to 12 pretty safely. I'll have to lower it again later, but that's okay. For now, this will help me do this a little bit faster without putting me in debt. And at all points in this game, you don't really need it at 9%. You can usually put it at 11 or 10%, and that'll be fine. It's only once your city is essentially done that you would want to set it back to something lower. Okay, I've got it far enough that I can start zoning. I am actually going to complete this industrial road here, just because I want to be able to cap off that road and reduce traffic. That'll help out a little bit. This section of industrial I'm going to make a little bit bigger. Going to make it go up that far. The wind should be pushing the industrial pollution away from town. Let's get this commercial zoned in here. And then fill in the rest with residential. Perfect. City's looking pretty good so far. I'm pretty happy with it. Let's get this all the way down here. And then let's do what we did earlier and just sort of alternate these commercial zones here, like that. I've got enough money since I'm raking in the cash pretty fast and it takes a while to zone things, so I can go ahead and probably finish off this road. The way you make curved roads like this is you set it to curvy and put guides on, and you'll be able to trace these lines like that. It's just like a sort of draw on the line sort of coloring book that has auto aim turned on. So the next step in this particular type of city is I need to get my utilities like police stations up, my fire truck and so on and so forth, but I also need to upgrade these roads. And that's going to cost a lot of money. The reason I have to upgrade these roads is if there's a fire in one of these buildings, my fire truck will stop in the middle of the road, stop all the traffic in that road, and everything's just going to be a complete mess because these only have 2 lanes, people can't pass anything. It's a bit of a disaster, especially since I have no intersections. I've got like these intersections and that's it. I've got a mission coming up for my town hall. He's just telling me that there's a supervillain somewhere in the region. We need to hire a superhero to stop him. It's basically kind of like Batman, Maxis Man's a little bit like that and a little bit dorkier. But he has a nice car, so you can forgive him for that. Now, as you can see, my zoning hasn't filled in all that quickly yet. There's still tons of empty zones. And that's because, again, there's a maximum number of moving vans that can come into the region at any given time. So we're just going to have to be a little bit patient. Wait a little bit here. I am going to probably need to put in some more commercial somewhere. But I'm not really sure where I want to do it. I might have to put it on the next layer outwards, so that's what I'll probably do. So if I put it like that, and then have commercial out here, and then commercial out here, it's probably the best way to do it. My air pollution levels are on the rise. That's a good thing. It just means my industrial is starting to get way. Industry produces a lot of pollution, but it's an indicator that your city, especially early on, is making money. Which it is. I can already afford the wellness clinic, which is really good. I'll add that in right now. I'm going to put my wellness clinic over here. It's got good access to this main road here. And it's not really in the way of anything. I'm probably going to put all my buildings that are of that sort in this sort of area, since it's low traffic and has good access. Next, I want to get the fire truck. If there's a fire right now, it'll be a big disaster. Fires, if they burn too long, spread it to other buildings and so on and so forth until your entire city is just covered in fire. There's a chance that they'll just go out without setting the next door neighbor's building on fire, but I find that that's not something you want to bank on, really. Now at this point, just because of the position of the highway, I can't do another proper ring around this road. What I can do is sort of have my road intersect with this highway, and then turn around into another circle. And I'll do that once, but this next ring is going to be the last ring around the city. Now, I can afford the fire department now, but already I have to start upgrading my roads. So let's put this in. Click the road upgrade, and look how expensive this is. This is one of the most expensive things that you're going to be doing this game, is upgrading roads. This road is 15,000 to upgrade, which is potentially just like catastrophically expensive. This one's 1,500. This one's a lot. Now I don't want to upgrade to high density now. I just want enough that my cars can move past one another if they have to for whatever reason. So this is going to be the big one. It'll take 2 paydays worth. In the meantime, what I also have to look at is, let's look at some of the charts here. Let's look at how my power is doing. Looks like I need to work on my power already. Let's close that. Look at this. Yeah, we're looking at the very sort of thin boundary between powered and unpowered here. So we have to add one of those. Let's go back to the roads. So that cost us a lot of money. That's going to set us back a little bit in upgrading these roads. I don't need to upgrade this middle road yet. Oh no, I already did. Okay. I probably shouldn't have. I should have waited for one of these other ones first, but that's okay. Get this up to medium density. The other thing that I want to look at is check to make sure that my water's okay. Water seems to be fine. I'm using the wrong viewer actually for water here. I should be using this one. Yep, water's fine. It's clean. That's all good. Let's look at our sewage situation. That's fine. I'll want to upgrade that so it's not just dumping pollution into the river here. But for now, that's what I have to do. I've got a population of over 5,000, so this has been upgraded. Get some little fireworks here. That's one of my favorite parts of that upgrade. I'm not actually going to use that upgrade yet since it costs more money than I have, and I need to upgrade these roads first. So roads are a little bit more important right now. I can get that up to medium density. Once I've got these roads finished, what I want to buy is probably the garbage disposal area. Garbage disposal is pretty important, but you don't really need it at the start of the game. It'll take a while before enough garbage accumulates that you need it. And it's a good thing I'm upgrading these roads. You can see these Sims are already starting to struggle to get across where they want to go. Just want to make sure I haven't missed any roads here. Other than, of course, that one, but that one I already knew about. And that I'll have enough for in just a few seconds. Boom. Okay, so that should help ease traffic. Another big thing that's leading to this congestion, though, are the sheer number of these moving trucks. You see these little yellow moving trucks? Those just come in whenever you're building anything in this game, or any zoning buildings. So, now that they're gone, it'll be a little bit clearer sailing. Let's just check out our power situation again. I'm barely getting any excess again still, but I've got plenty of money now. So let's go ahead. They're demanding I upgrade this, so let's go do that for them. That'll be fine. And that leaves me with just a little bit of money. I'll be doing this next. So looking back in our view here, we can see that there's 455 garbage cans that haven't been picked up because I don't have garbage services. You can see a lot of that waste is accumulating sort of near that industrial sector. I have to get all this picked up before garbage is set to high. If it gets to overflowing, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. So I've been paid. You get paid every hour in this game, in-game hour. So let's use that money and get ourselves a waste disposal area. This is going to lower my property values here, as you can see, but it's just nipping a little bit of my residential. It's mostly getting this commercial, which doesn't care too much. Here you can see the benefits of having a fire station. Got this place, which decided to crank up their whatever to 800 degrees. That's pretty foolish and tends to cause fires. But, you know, you deal. So I'm making 9,000 an hour, which is pretty good. What I want to work on now is work towards getting a casino. So I need to start thinking about how I want the roads for my casino. And I want a district sort of like a Las Vegas style strip, except this is going to be the Yukitsu circle of casinos. So let's get that started here. I don't want this to be curvy, I want this to be straight. Passing right through the center there. Now, this one, I just need to change my view here so I can get this done properly. Okay, I need to turn off guides for this. Looks like it's being a little bit of a... still trying to skip it over that. That seems to be a little bit easier. I don't think I got it perfect, but that'll do. Now, people want parks, so I can increase the land value of the area. Instead, what I'm going to spend my money on is going to be my first casino. You can find it in your specialties under gambling. Gambling house. Let's just put that right here. And I think that'll be it for today. Hope to see you all next time.